Hey, welcome to the video. Now, today I'm going to show you how I managed to drop 16 pounds of body fat in just 8 weeks by making a few simple upgrades that actually move the needle in your favor. So no shortcuts, no nonsense. You do not need fat burners. You don't need detox teas. You don't need any kind of metabolism booster pill that you bought off the black market. In this video, I'm just going to coach you through the exact 4 levers step by step that you can make to make fat loss feel so much easier. First up, and let's clear this up because people tend to throw the word metabolism around like it's some kind of magical being, some kind of mythical creature. Your metabolism is not one singular thing. It's basically how many calories you burn in a day, and that total comes from 4 separate parts. The easiest way to understand this is to imagine your metabolism a little bit like a car. So with a car, you've got engine size, how much you drive the car, how hard you drive when you do drive the car, and what fuel you put inside the tank. All 4 of these things decide how much fuel you burn every single day. So here's the translation if you're not a car junkie, and I'm definitely not one by the way, so we're going to make it realistic for you. The engine equals your BMR, also known as your basal metabolic rate. Now this is just the calories you burn by existing, even if you sat on your ass all day doing nothing. The second thing is the miles driven, and this equates to your non-exercise activity thermogenesis, also known as NEAT. Now this is movement you do outside of the gym, so walking, standing up, taking the stairs, just living like a human being. The third thing is how hard you actually drive your car, and this is your exercise activity. So your workouts, your gym sessions, your cardio sessions, fitness classes, all that kind of good stuff. And the fourth one is the type of fuel you put inside of the car, and this is known as the thermic effect of food, or TEF, as you might have seen it. Different foods take different energies to digest, and that affects your hunger in different ways. So that's metabolism in a little bit of a nutshell, and it's not a mythical creature, is it? It's not a vibe, it's not your hormones being broken, and the car analogy fits it well. And a slow versus fast metabolism is basically the difference between a tiny car like a Fiat 500 that never leaves the drive, or a Ferrari doing laps around a Grand Prix circuit all day. So you don't boost your metabolism with different hacks and pills, you boost it by upgrading the parts to burn more fuel. So let's look into these 4 upgrades now. Upgrade number 1 is to build a better engine, and this is your muscle tissue. The first lever is your engine, so your basal metabolic rate. And I'll be honest with you, some of this is a little bit of genetics. You can't change your height, your bone structure, or your frame, but you can control one massive thing: how much muscle you carry. The more muscle you have equals a bigger engine. A bigger engine burns more fuel even when you're not doing anything, even when you're sat at rest. And this is why I don't love fat loss approaches that only chase the scale and ignore strength training. Because if you lose weight without giving your body a reason to keep muscle, you don't just lose fat, you lose muscle as well. You get smaller and your engine gets smaller with it. So yeah, the scale might go down, but you've basically downrated the car to a Fiat 500. And this does take you a little bit of time. Building muscle is not an easy thing, and I've trained for years, and not perfectly, but consistently enough to build a decent amount of muscle tissue over those years. But here's the good news: you do not need to do this for 10 years for it to start working. You just need to live consistently enough to keep muscle tissue while you lose body fat as well. And that alone makes your results look way better and your metabolism way stronger long term. Upgrade number 2 is where most people can make progress pretty much immediately, and it's the most boring one, which is why most people ignore it. Non-exercise activity. Basically, how much you move day to day. This is the miles on the car lever, and this matters way more than you think because most people sit down all day and try to make up for it with one brutal workout. But the thing is, 1 hour in the gym doesn't undo 8 hours of being sat on your ass. For me, this was a massive one, absolutely huge. I was moving when I was going to the gym and training clients, etc. But apart from that, I was generally sat down working on my laptop, sat down driving, basically not doing a great deal of movement. So I just made it stupidly simple. I walked a lot more. Simple. That was it. I didn't get a walking pad, although that can be useful if you struggle to get outside. There was no complicated routine. I just decided to get off my ass and go and walk a bit more outside. And when my steps went up, my calorie burn went up, and fat loss happened way faster. And here's what I love about this as well. Walking doesn't feel like an effort, does it? It doesn't require motivation. You don't need willpower to go for a walk. You can fit it into real life and real life scenarios. And for loads of people, this is one upgrade that really will move the needle. Now, upgrade number 3, and this is exercise, and this is where a hell of a lot of people usually self-sabotage. We're going back to the car analogy for a second. Imagine driving at 90 miles an hour absolutely everywhere that you go. Every day, no breaks at all. What I'm trying to get at here is that you burn a hell of a lot of fuel very fast doing that, but you're also very likely to wreck the car. There'll be more breakdowns, more repairs, a higher chance of crashing and burning. And you might think that sounds fairly obvious, but this is exactly what people do with their bodies when it comes to exercise. They think fat loss means more workouts, harder workouts, insane cardio, sweating their tits off basically. And then they wonder why they're exhausted, they're starving, they're stressed out, and their sleep's gone all the shit. Then they quit 3 weeks later. I see this all the time. This is the thing that a lot of people do not understand about this. Exercise is not the biggest calorie burner, believe it or not, but it is the biggest recovery demand. It takes a while to get over. So if you go a bit too hard, your body generally fights back. More fatigue, more hunger, more stress, worse sleep, more cravings, far less consistency. So instead of burning fat, you just make the whole plan a hell of a lot harder. What does work is the middle ground. So training that you can recover from and also repeat. So generally for me, that meant some simple, repeatable workouts. Some good lifting, a few hard sets, enough to stimulate my muscles and burn a few calories, without feeling like I'd absolutely battered my body into oblivion. Because fat loss isn't about how hard you can go today, it's about what's repeatable so you can recover and repeat it next week. So now we've talked about the bigger engine, the more daily movement, recoverable training, but the thing is none of that really matters if the plan feels like you're struggling, you're suffering, and life is pretty miserable all the time. Because if fat loss feels miserable, it's just not sustainable, you won't stick to it. And this is where most people assume that food has to become an extreme restriction. So they put more rules around food, they cut everything out, and they generally eat like a rabbit eats, just lettuce, carrots, whatever. But that's not what it should be. This isn't about eating less, it's about eating in a way that supports everything you're already doing. Fuel really does matter. Cheap fuel burns differently than high quality fuel. The engine doesn't run as clean, the engine doesn't last as long, and it creates some more internal issues later on. Food's exactly the same. Your body burns energy digesting food. That's a real thing, you know. I'm not making that up. It's called the thermic effect of food, or TEF, as you might have seen it. And some foods use more energy to digest than others. Protein uses more than carbohydrates. Whole foods use more energy to digest than ultra-processed foods. And foods that keep you feeling fuller naturally reduce how much you eat later, how much you snack later that evening. So what I did was consume more protein, more high-volume foods, more meals that actually keep you feeling full. I've really cut down on the ultra-processed stuff, and that makes you feel hungry about an hour later. And when you do that, your food stops feeling like an emotional fight, and you're not negotiating with yourself all day about what you're eating, not constantly battling hunger, because that's just a recipe for being miserable. And you end up eating like somebody who's actually in control. So if you're watching this now and you want a faster metabolism, please stop looking for hacks that people on the internet are promising you. Just upgrade these 4 levers. It's actually quite simple. So build muscle so your engine is nice and strong. Walk more so you burn more body fat daily. Train hard enough but recover properly. And consume better fuel. More protein, more whole foods, more high volume meals. If you stack those things together, fat loss becomes so much simpler. Now I know it's not easy, but it is simple. And it's 100% more sustainable as well. So hopefully you've enjoyed this video. If you've got any questions at all, pop them in the comment section below. I'd love to hear them. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next one.